Delaware County Interactive Gaming Revenue Authority for September 15th, 2022. I call the meeting to order at 2:04 p.m. Please join me and rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I'll have our Secretary, Ron Evans, conduct a roll call.
I see Vincent, Francis, and Paul and I are here. Stefan's not here yet. And our solicitor, Frank Daly, is also here.
Okay, thank you. You should have all received a motion. I'm sorry, you should have all received an agenda for today's meeting for September 15th. It was distributed to you collectively and individually, and also posted on our DeSigro website at least 24 hours in advance. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Agenda's approved. At this meeting, we will open up for public comment concerning the agenda. Okay. We will proceed. All of you should have received the minutes from our dutiful secretary, Ron Evans, for the August 22 DeSigro meeting. I will make a motion to approve the minutes. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Minutes are approved. Okay, I'm going to make an executive decision and skip the treasurer's report temporarily. Our treasurer did indicate to me earlier that he may be running late. He's probably got back-to-back meetings. So I will move forward to the solicitor's report. Our solicitor is Frank Daly.
Pardon me. I followed up on the request at the last meeting to see what happened to our request to be recognized as tax exempt by Pennsylvania for sales tax, and found that the Commonwealth had lost her application. So right before the meeting, I had the chair sign a new application, and hopefully this will be rectified. Other than that, I have nothing else to report.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for the solicitor? Okay, we will proceed to old business. The first item of old business is our next generation grant summary, and I will provide that. Oh, no, I will not provide that. I will turn it over to Ron if he has any comments on our next generation.
No, I don't think there's any new news. I mean, the news is that it's been
Closed.
satisfied, concluded. Yeah, I guess there was one email, I'm thinking from Harcum, that Paul, you responded to. That they inquired if it was like still open, or
Right.
they could also apply for this year, and you told them it was closed.
Yes, and I think we received that email after we decided at the last meeting that we closed the grant.
Yeah.
Okay. I will provide one small update. The final grant for Chester Community Chorus, I believe, was approved at the county council meeting in September, early September. Yeah, I think so, early September, yeah. Okay. Or late August, one of them. I'm trying to keep all the dates together. The next order of business is the Emergency Services Grant Round 2 update, and that will be by me. We have 8 applicants as of Monday for a recommended amount of $17,246.50 of the approximate $50,000 that's allocated for this round. We did receive another grant application on Tuesday that I have not had a chance to put in the spreadsheet, and that's for about $2,000. Most of the, so that would bring us up close to about $19,246 if after I review it, and most likely will recommend it. Most of the applicants have been fire departments or fire companies, As most of you know, in October is Fire Prevention Month, Fire Prevention Week. So a lot of the fire companies and fire departments are taking advantage of this grant opportunity. The grants are approved by us on a quarterly basis and then submitted to County Council and approved by them after our approval. So some of the funding for some of these recipients, they will not receive the award until maybe late November. So some of them are expending the expenses, if that's a term, upfront, and then they'll be reimbursed after the fact. But we appreciate our fire companies and our fire departments for this outreach, this community outreach to their communities to keep everyone safe from fire and make them aware of other emergency services. I implore and encourage all other emergency entities, fire departments, other fire companies, fire departments, and nonprofit ambulance services to avail themselves of this grant on the DeSigra website, desigra.org. And they could submit that grant application to info@desigra.org.
Spell DeSigra.
Yes, and
So-
Vince has a comment, I'm sorry.
So am I correct in understanding that there's $30,000 roughly left in the pool here? And this is going to be a little bit of a, I don't know if it's a curveball exactly, but as Crozier explores the migration back to nonprofit status, their EMS service is sort of in flux and potentially could use support. And I'm wondering, they would need a nonprofit sponsor if they have not yet made the transition to full nonprofit status.
The grant application deadline is December 31st.
Yep.
It is specifically for limited per entity at $2,500. But what you're saying is if we haven't exhausted those funds, could we, I'm asking you, I guess this is my question.
Yeah.
If we haven't exhausted those funds, could we use that, the balance of those funds to support Crozier's ambulance service if they are at a nonprofit status at that time? Is that your question?
I think that's one iteration of my question. Absolutely. Another one would be, could they just apply for the 2,500? If we're not able to expend, or if we get closer to expending the full 30, I think at this point, they could use all the help they could get, right? So whether it became a larger sort of special grant because we hadn't expended all the money, or whether it was just a normal application, it could be either.
Well, the purposes of the current application are for specific purposes. So if there is a remaining balance, that we would have to discuss it.
I see. Okay, got it.
I think Francis had a point or a comment.
I would just suggest that if there's a lack of interest in applying for the funds, that there are many other purposes for these funds, and we don't have an obligation to fund the full 50. And if I would even suggest that by our November meeting, if there doesn't appear to be much interest beyond the 20,000 that we will have granted by then, that we seriously consider closing it and reallocating the funding for something else. There's a lot of a variety of needs in the community from organizations that have stepped up almost immediately when we've issued proposals. We had no trouble with the initial 50,000 that we awarded back 6 months, 7 months ago.
Right.
And I'm a little surprised that we haven't had more applications in this round, but perhaps it speaks to a certain, people are busy. And it's not a lot of money for these fire companies. They need tens of thousands in funding. So to go through the trouble of submitting a proposal for $2,500 may not feel as worthwhile as we might assume.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and I reached out to someone in the law enforcement community to help distribute this this information to the departments throughout the county, and also reached out to the Fire Chiefs Association of Delaware
Mhm.
County, asked that person to distribute it as well. Also reached back to all of the emergency entities that were still eligible this year, meaning that they have not already received a grant this year,
Sure.
but maybe they received a grant or reimbursement last year.
Mhm.
So I think obviously we published it in the Daily Times, so I think we've done our due diligence. in
Yes,
trying to communicate.
you absolutely have.
And we don't have a
Absolutely.
full-time staff to
Right.
pick up the phone and call every department and company in the county.
But the bottom line is you don't have you have these 8 or now 9 applicants, and we should take the time to review those proposals so that we can vote on them in our October meeting.
Yes, in October, I will be making a motion to approve all of these. I will, in advance, I will make them available. They are available because all of you are on the shared drive. So you can look at those
Mhm.
now, or you can, closer to the our next October meeting date. Were there any other questions or comments concerning my report about the emergency services? All right. Stefan, we're on the old business. We'll come back to you for the treasurer's report shortly. All right. I will make a motion to approve a special grant for $25,000 to the Historic Lansdowne Theater Corporation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments?
So this is it's a follow-up from like a few months ago presentation where they presented their needs.
Mhm. And we told them we wanted to wait until it was clear that they were going to make their capital budget, which they've got the obligations to meet their capital budget, but the money isn't, they're in the process of actually drawing down the funds, but they're clearly having some challenges with operating costs through the balance of the year. So this seemed like a worthwhile way for us to be able to support the project, justify the expenditure, and be involved, in what will be, I think, a pretty significant economic development opportunity for that community, and not just for Lansdowne, but all the communities that surround it.
Thank you for that summary. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. Thank you. I will make a motion to approve establishment of 2022 Arts and Cultural Fund with up to $80,000 for nonprofits, providing arts and culture programming with preference given to those benefiting low to moderate income neighborhoods and other marginalized communities in Delaware County. Eligible nonprofits include those providing out-of-school time arts and culture activities and program, arts and education performances and education, and other services and programs that promote the arts in Delaware County. Priority is given on a first come, first served basis with 501c3 tax status or a legitimate fiscal sponsor. Funding is not available to any nonprofit that has received DeSigra funding since September 1st, 2021. Is that correct?
I think that's what we had said.
Okay. Maximum grant award per grantee is $10,000. Approved applications by DeSigra are subject to Delaware County Council approval. Applications available on or around October 1st, 2022, and must be received before December 31st, 2022. Do I have a second for that motion?
Second.
Any questions or comments? Yep. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? Motion carried. I have a question. Yes, go ahead, Mr. Solicitor. That was my question because I
Mhm.
think I may have meant to put that on the agenda and I did not. Can I amend the agenda? Okay. I'll make a motion to amend the agenda with a motion to approve the solicitor to place an announce RFP for this grant in the Daily Times. Do I have a second? Any questions or comments? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain, motion carried. Thank you.
So Stefan, do you need, so in order to get this application up on the website, and is that something you do with the,
I can do, sure. We just need a
Or you can
PDF version of it.
yes, I can do it, can't I?
Feel empowered.
Be terrified, everybody. Okay.
So do you want to have it posted on October 1st or,
I think it can get posted before then. It'll go in the Times on by the 1st, but there's no reason why we can't put it up there now, no?
oh, yes,
Is
we said
there?
applications available on or around October 1st, so it's fine. Okay,
Okay, that gives me a little time to figure it out.
okay. I can help you if you need help.
Oh, yes, you'll need the link. Got it. Link to Frank.
Any other old business that we may have missed? Okay, at this time, I will turn it over to the treasurer for the treasurer's report.
All right, thank you. Treasurer's report for September 2022. We have an opening balance, $184,699.88. Our last contribution from the state was on our latest statement, $91,049.83, $4.43 in interest, over $137,000 in checks paid, electronic payments, which represented our automatic withdrawal out of the account for checks, physical checks. Ending balance on August 31st statement, $137,742.35. As of September 12th, the balance in the account, $127,442.45. On the treasurer's report that was sent out, we have close to a dozen or more of checks that are cleared, only one outstanding check, family support line of Delco, and a few asterisks on the report for some boo-boos from the last report. I just mentioned a deposit of $91,000. What I want to continue to do to be consistent on that top section of the treasurer's report, everything leading down to where it says ending balance for the last day of the month would be directly from the bank statement for that month. I guess I got excited because when we had our meeting last month, the $91,000 had already arrived. So I had filled in that line on last month's treasurer's report. But in actuality, it should have gone on this treasurer's report and just mention of the deposit should have been down the bottom section. I think you guys understand that logic. Thank you. So didn't want us to know, we know we didn't get $91,000 2 months in a row, but it should have been reflected on this statement, not the last one. So if there is no further questions or comments on the treasury report, I just would like to have a motion for approval.
So moved.
And is there a second?
One question.
There is a question.
The family support line of Delco, that $10,000, that's the only outstanding check
Yes.
but not in consideration of the one that I mentioned to you today. Of Chester Children's Choir. Because that doesn't have to be reflected in this report, correct?
You didn't write the check yet.
Oh, that's true.
You had me scratching my head.
Okay.
So yes, that's why we brought the checkbook today,
All right.
so that we can.
And I guess my main question is, will you follow up with family supply or do you need me to?
No, I can do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Family support line of Delco. Sure, I can shoot him a note.
Thank you. That ends my questions.
All right. So we have a second.
Yep.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carries.
Can I ask a related question of you, Stefan, regarding the audit? Did we ever get a PDF of the audit document that we can put on the website? Or did you already put it on the website?
I'm not sure. I don't think I put it on the website. Did we get a PDF? I'm not sure of that either. If we received it in a Word format, I can convert it to a PDF.
They should give us a PDF.
They should
of
give
the
us one.
document.
Okay.
I remember.
Well,
some fi-
actually, I thought that it went to the county for their review and we haven't gotten it back yet
That's correct.
because we have to accept it. And then it goes up on the website. So can you follow, who is dealing with the county around that? Is that you or is it Frank?
I think that leaves me then.
Could you follow up? Because this is taking, we really need to accept the audit document. The year ended December. Yeah, that's really way too long for,
I think we approved financial statements or something similar. to that. That was in the minutes. But I don't know if it was I don't know if it was the full audit. I'll have to look at our minutes. Okay.
okay.
Oh.
Do you mind following up on that?
No, I got it.
Okay. Not sure, but that needs to go up online. That's really important.
Secondly, I have a motion to approve Daily Times invoice of $240.62 for proof of publication of financial report.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Motion to authorize treasurer to pay course vector invoices of $300. That's for 2 months.
Second.
All the, second, yeah, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. I'll go to the bottom one. Well, the bottom two, they're related. Motion to authorize treasurer to pay a vendor space at Chesterfest. Well, don't give me a motion yet because there is no charge. There would be no charge if we were to participate in that event.
Second.
If you get a second on that one. And
I think you have to let people know what Chesterfest is.
Yes,
because we will not be
Chesterfest.
Available, so I don't know if anyone else on the authority will be
Ask about
available.
that. It's the Riverfront Fest, right? That Lisa Gaffney. is
Yes, that's it.
organizing now. What is the point of our having a table there?
that was the same question our chairman asked, and it certainly isn't for the people who attended or who would be attending, but there's a slew of people that we would likely serve in this body. A lot of nonprofits are a part of it. So I just thought being there and having a presence, that would be nice. So people could see who we are. We could talk about ourselves kind of as an inside connection with many of the supporters of the Chesterfest. Is it the best use of our time? Maybe not, but it was just recommended. I thought it would be a great opportunity for us to just get our name out there a little more to some of the organizations that we've already supported and others who may not know a thing about us. I will not be available. I think it's October 1st. So even if we do, approve to be there, we have to decide in what form we want to be there. It may not even require a table. If someone just shows up and walks the room or walks the fest, it could serve the same purpose. I'm not a huge fan of sitting behind a table. I don't think it's the best use of, resources, especially it's not going to be a really well attended event anyway. And it's basically environmental focused, but
So I will be there representing the Foundation for Delaware County. I'm happy to mention to Sigra in my conversations with any nonprofit leaders that I, have conversations with. I mean, I do that anyway, so happy to do that. But I agree with you. Getting locked behind a table is, if you really want to get out there and work the room, you really need to do that. So
all right. So
Do you want to keep or rescind the motion?
I want to rescind that motion because we are not going to be paying for vendor space. So we'll rescind that motion. But there may be some. Do we?
I second your
Oh,
rescinding of the
All those in
motion.
favor of rescinding the motion?
Aye.
The next one, though, may be something,
Vince has a comment.
Sorry, thanks.
I couldn't see you way over there. Sorry, Vince.
No, that's all right. There's a number of reflective layers in between us. But I would just say that in general, I think it's a positive, especially in the communities surrounding the casino, to raise the profile of positive impact from gaming revenue. So whether the Chesterfest is the exact right event or tabling is the exact right vehicle, I do think for hyper locally impacted communities that may have mixed emotions about gaming, right? The ability to see and hear about tangible, positive investments in the community made possible by gambling revenue makes a lot of sense and is something that is worth investing in and that we could distinguish from other tabling activities. I mean, I could see a slippery slope argument, like we don't want to pay to be at every festival, but we could carve out a distinction for communities impacted by gaming who need to see the positive impact, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you for that.
Thanks, Vince.
The next one, motion to authorize treasurer to pay for exhibit display items up to $500. So before we make that motion, I'm going back to you, Francis. Would you like to have something in hand while you're there pitching the SIGRA? Okay.
I mean, other than maybe, I could write the website on the back of my business card, which doesn't cost anything.
Mhm.
I really don't think I don't think having a lot of material is necessary for us.
Okay.
That's just my opinion. I mean, it's not useful unless it's going to be used. And that's additional time for the five of us. And I think we're better. I think we've been doing a good job getting the word out when there are grant opportunities available. We've been moving money out the door. I don't think we need to be at fairs.
Okay.
And we do a ton of that. I mean, I have a whole team that's out at every community event out there, and there's so much going on this fall. I just think it's a very, for what we're looking for, which is interaction with the nonprofit leaders and their fundraising staff. That's more about one-on-one emails, the foundation's e-newsletter. It's not about going to a community fair.
Because and I think I wouldn't say the stakeholders, but the audience is different for the foundation versus the SIGRA. If there's 1,000 people that attend this festival, there may be 8 nonprofits there that could benefit from the SIGRA versus the other 982 or whatever the number is, 12 or whatever, 92 or whatever. There's no value
Right, we're doing those.
other than what Vincent kind of
Yeah,
alluded to a little bit earlier.
Here, but even there, our job is not to make the gaming community look good.
Well, I think he's trying to say,
I don't know if that, I'm not sure.
But we haven't never really had this, and I'm not being critical, I'm not taking the position one way or the other. Certainly, I serve on a board with the local head of Harris, great guy, that's not my point, but I don't know that we exist to disperse funds that come from interactive gaming. That was a negotiation in awarding the licenses, et cetera, that we were not a part of. But it's not our job as the 5 of us awarding the funds to then be out there in the community saying,
Oh, absolutely.
gaming community is wonderful, gaming is wonderful. We don't take a position, we're agnostic,
Oh, absolutely.
I thought.
No. Absolutely. And that wasn't, I agree with that. I mean, I agree with that, we don't exist to advocate for or take a position on gaming. The revenue that funds our grants comes from gaming. So that's just sort of unavoidable. And again, that's sort of why I suggested the hyper locality. And when it comes specifically, maybe that's right. Maybe banners and tablecloths aren't quite right, but maybe something as simple as a high quality, nice name tag for each of us, something that would spark a conversation when you're in a room full of nonprofits. Oh, what is
Or
DeSigra?
government lead.
Where are you from? Right? Because we all wear multiple hats, as you indicated, and people could have conversations with us, and we might not come around to DeSigra, right? Or it might not be where the way that we're primarily recognized. And so a middle ground to make sure that the grant opportunities are publicized. Yeah, might be just as simple as a name tag for the board members to help start those conversations when we're in nonprofit and government leader circles. Yeah.
All right, so in light of that, this motion to authorize treasurer to pay for exhibit display items up to $500 with a few examples there. I think, Vince, you just gave us another example that wasn't a part of those examples.
Well, it
Correct?
says et cetera.
It does say et cetera. So I'm just assuming that if we approve this motion, then sometime in the future, when we decide to purchase name tags or caps or softball uniforms that say DeSigra or anything of the like, we can go on and do it without any other approvals in place other than us deciding on what we're purchasing. Would that be correct? Mr. Solicitor, I throw that at you.
For 2023.
Well, there could be an opportunity that he may be able to purchase these items before the 2023 budget, if there's an opportunity for, as Vince alluded to, awareness among the authority members at an event where there could be several stakeholders. So for example, if we go make a presentation for Delaware County Literacy Council, the presenters could have the name tags on.
I think it would be very helpful for you to have a name tag, Paul. I have a name tag for the foundation. I would not.
You might be having, you might
You
might look like an army general with so many name tags.
Do you have a name tag as a member of council?
I do not.
So if you want, if people want a name tag that they're going to use, I'm fine with that, and I'm happy to support a motion to authorize setting aside funding for that. I just know I don't need a name tag
Okay,
because I wouldn't use it.
I second the motion. As written. Say that again?
Yeah, I was asking what your.
Yeah, I think it leaves enough flexibility in there that as we need items that we can acquire them based
All right,
on needs.
so we have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? There are none. Motion carries.
Thank you,
That concludes
Good
the
discussion.
financial report.
thank you. Any new business? Any public comment? I'd like to acknowledge our county council person, Christine Ruther, is here in attendance. Thank you. Thank you, Bing.
Sorry, I wanted to get here earlier, but got hung up in conversation about an agenda item.
No problem. Any authority comments?
Not a great meeting.
We are getting amazing kudos from that last round of grants.
The next generation grant?
Yes. I mean, people were really thrilled to receive this money. I know some of them have sent letters and some of them have just expressed themselves whenever I see them. And I think some of them have done both. Sent letters and chased me down the street.
And I had a great time at the Kelly Music for Life event that one night.
Yeah, I learned that was my first time in Havertown. I had never been to Havertown
Oh,
before.
it's happening.
Yeah.
We saw a show, great music by young people, presented a check-in during the intermission, and just great talent by our local kids, and, you know, express to them that we need to outreach into Upper Darby and other surrounding communities, making sure that we don't exclude anyone, but be more inclusive. So
Absolutely.
that was great. All right, I have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Opposed, abstained? Thank you. Meeting adjourned.